All right, everybody. Good afternoon.
Good
It
afternoon.
is
Hello
3 o'clock, and at this time, I'm going to call
so
our
glad that's
meeting
not
to
my job.
order. And if just a quick reminder that if you aren't speaking, just go ahead and mute yourself, just to minimize that sort of background noise. We're going to start off with attendance, so I'm going to turn that over to Misha for attendance.
John Barber,
Here.
Hillary Brooks,
Here.
Jackson Kane.
Here.
Thank you. Nancy Carter.
Here.
Thank you. George Childress. John Eldridge.
Here.
Karen Lowe. Aquila Maxwell.
Here.
Thank you. Christopher Matheson. Maddie Matheson. Kanya Mull.
Here.
Thank you. Paul Robertson.
Here.
Thank you. Monica Shimon Orr.
I'm here.
Thank you. Joel Simmons.
Here.
Thank you. Stacy Spangler. Jessica Villanueva.
Here.
Thank you. Nancy Welch. All right, I'm going to go back up to the top because I think some people have come in. George Childress.
Here.
Thank you. Karen Lowe. All right, I see her. She's on mute. Maddie Matheson. Stacy Spangler. And Nancy Welch.
I'm here.
Thank you. All right, and Lauren Ziegler has let me know that she's going to be absent today.
Okay. Looks like we got a pretty good crowd today. Thanks for being here, everybody. Once again, we've got a really exciting slate on our agenda today. So if you're not speaking, remember to mute yourself so we can hear everybody well. Thanks for being here. And at this time, I'd like to move to approve. I'd like to get a motion to approve March's minutes. Just as a reminder, you had to have attended that meeting to make that motion or to second it.
This is Mull. I'll make the first motion to approve March's minutes.
This is Simmons. I'll second.
Were you there?
Simmons cannot second.
Yeah,
He
you
was
Oh,
were
absent.
that's
there.
right. I missed last one.
Yeah,
This is Low. I can second.
excellent.
Thank
Any
you.
opposed? Any opposed? Okay, that passes. So we're going to move on to our presentations, beginning with Olivia Price from Autism Breakthrough. So Olivia, I'm going to hand it over to you. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Perfect. I am going to try to share my screen with you guys, and hopefully it works. Okay. Can you guys see that? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Perfect. Cool. I'm really excited to be here and take a little bit of everyone's time this afternoon. So thank you so much for having me. I work for Autism Breakthrough of Knoxville. I've been here about 3 years now, and I've worn a wide variety of hats since I've been here in the last 3 years. But recently, I'm in the role of a spelling to communicate practitioner here in our therapeutic services department. So I'm very, very excited to talk to you guys today in honor of April being Autism Acceptance Month. So I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what we do here at Breakthrough just very quickly. We have our community living services. We have both supported living and our independent living homes, as well as our community day services. We do lots of community employment through Project Search and the BEST program. And newer to Breakthrough is our therapeutic services, which opens up towards the end of 2022, kind of coinciding with our opening of our Autism and Community Outreach Center. So we've had a few additions to this department. So we now offer Spelling to Communicate, which is what I'm super, super excited to come and talk to you guys today about, as well as we offer speech therapy, social skills groups, physical therapy, recreation therapy, and a part of our recreation therapy program is our Saturday R&R, or our respite and recreation program. So with April being Autism Acceptance Month, I wanted to talk a little bit about what is autism. It's defined as a developmental disability, and it's characterized by challenges in social communication, restricted interest, or repetitive behavior. And a lot of times this definition kind of barely scratches the surface on what autism can actually look like, right? A lot of individuals with autism, there's so many differences in how autism can manifest in different people. There can be differences in how people process sensory information. There can be differences in anxiety levels, differences in communication skills and motor abilities, which is what we're really here to talk today about, and I'll get into. But there can be so many differences, which is why I always like to really emphasize that autism is a spectrum. I think a lot of times people have used these terms low functioning or high functioning and kind of thought as autism as this linear just line, right, with low and high functioning on the other side. Which I hope my presentation today really kind of, there's any stigma around that, kind of changes that, because there's so many different things that autism can look and sound like. And it's not, again, one size fits all. If you meet one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. It just looks so vastly different for everyone. So getting into what Spelling to Communicate is, which is my very favorite thing to talk about in the world. S2C is a form of AAC, so that is our alternative augmentative communication, and it's for individuals who are non-speaking, minimally speaking, or unreliably speaking. So what I mean by non-speaking is our individuals who cannot use any sort of speech to convey thoughts, wants, needs, ideas, any of that. A lot of terms or a lot of times it's used also as the word nonverbal, which you guys might have heard more familiar rather than the term non-speaking. Also with minimally speaking, so individuals who can use little bits and pieces of speech, they might be able to request little things like car ride or breakfast or stuff like that, but it's not a robust form of communication. Their speech doesn't allow them to sit and have a conversation like I'm talking to you guys right now. Just a very, very minimal. And then I also work with individuals who are unreliably speaking. So think of individuals, if you ask them a question, they may say that question right back to you, and you may not get a clear answer. Or you may ask them a question and they might say yes to every single question. A lot of my individuals also script or kind of recite lines from movies or TV shows, sometimes even past conversations that they've heard. So again, just that their speech is not able to be a reliable form of communication. Everything that's in their brain just isn't able to get out of their mouth, is that population that S2C is really for. So Spelling to Communicate works to provide the purposeful motor skills required to accurately point to letters on a letter board. For some of us, that may sound super, super easy to do. If you want to poke the letter A, you can poke the letter A, right? But a lot of times with our guys with autism, they have a lot of motor differences, which we'll get into in a couple slides. But it makes it really, really hard for their body to do anything intentional or purposeful. But that's what sessions are really working towards, is building that synchrony between brain and body. So now I want to communicate that I want to go to West Virginia for spring break. For whatever reason, someone might want to go to West Virginia for spring break. Now I'm able to have that autonomy and be able to spell that out now that my thoughts and ideas are able to be reflected with what my body is doing on the outside. So on this next slide, I'm going to show a video, and it does have sound. So hopefully the sound works once I start it. If someone could give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound when I press play. Can everyone hear that? let's see. Let's see if I can share my sound with you guys too.
You're the reason I have communication today. Because of believers like you all, I was given a chance to begin my life at 37 years old. I am forever indebted to everyone watching this. My whole life, I've been assumed to be incompetent. For my whole life, I've been watching, listening, and wondering if anyone would see me. Now they do. They have no choice but to hear me. Having an advocate like Olivia has opened up my world entirely and has stopped much of the abuse I have faced in my group home. I've had to think outside the box every day to protect myself and my non-speaking twin brother, Tim. It excites me now that I can report things that staff do when they think no one is watching. Non-speakers are always watching. I've been waiting and trying everything I can to make my intelligence known to others. Do you know what it's like to will your body to move and be met with nothing but unrelenting internal dialogue, asking, why not someone else? I've asked that question every day, as I'm sure many of my fellow non-speakers have. Can we all agree apraxia is the culprit that has stolen much of our lives? Knowing I have so many people who are working on understanding my non-compliant body is magical. Making myself happier is my only goal right now. My unruly body is no longer a reason to be devoid of happiness. I'd like to thank my mom for never giving up on me. No one thinks we are in here, but that's inaccurate. I'm so privileged to have found my way of communication.
All right. So John mentioned something in his video called apraxia, and that apraxia is this culprit that has stolen much of his and a lot of other non-speakers' lives. So I wanted to briefly touch on what apraxia is to make a little bit more sense of what John was speaking on, as well as that brain-body synchrony that I was speaking about when I was telling you guys about the Spelling to Communicate program. So apraxia is best defined as a brain-body disconnect. There are so many different types of apraxia that can affect anything from those fine motor skills of your fingers and hands to ocular motor eye movements to there's one type of apraxia that is the inability to imitate what someone else is doing, right? Just being able to initiate and execute those intentional, purposeful motor actions is what apraxia affects. And I don't think it's talked about enough. It does affect about 2/3 of individuals on the spectrum. And prior to hearing about spelling to communicate, I had never even heard the term, which is, again, not talked about enough, especially within this population of individuals with autism or IDD. It is just a breakdown of the motor planning process, right? There's two main parts of your brain that are responsible for that initiation and execution piece. And I think a lot of times apraxia gets confused with a few different things, which I kind of want to touch on too, kind of what apraxia can be confused as and what it's been thought of to be for so long. And I wanted to share a story about John, the individual you guys just saw in that video, to kind of help illustrates what apraxia can really be kind of misconstrued as. So one thing it can be thought of as is refusal. To share a story that John gave me permission to share. About a year ago, he was finally able to communicate his thoughts, wants, needs, all of the things, and he was essentially able to meet his mom for the first time, right, as an adult man. So she was coming over to his house to, again, essentially talk to him for the first time. I was in John's room with his letterboard and I asked him how he was feeling, if he was excited, what was going on. And he was spelling out, I'm so excited to see my mom today. I can't wait. He asked to go out into the kitchen so we could all sit around the table. Absolutely, let's go. So I got up from his room and I walked out into the kitchen and started putting all my stuff down on the kitchen table. And then I hear a door slam behind me and I turn around and John is not in the kitchen. He's back in his room, laying on his bed. So I go back in there and I ask him, how can I help your body, right? Going back to that brain body disconnect, I know his body is not initiating and executing what he wants to do. He just told me all he wants to do is talk to his mom for the first time. But a lot of times that's what it's confused as, right? If I wasn't able to communicate with John, I would have thought he just slammed his door and went back to go lay down on his bed. He could care less about talking to his mom, which could be further from the truth. And a lot of times in this population of autism, everyone hears all behavior is communication, which again, whenever apraxia is thrown into the mix, it is not true at all, right? If I would have just listened and saw what I saw and what John's body was doing, I again would have thought he's telling me he doesn't want to come out of his room or to talk to his mom, which again, thankfully, I was able to communicate with him on the boards and he was able to spell out exactly what his body needed to help get him out of the room. And also, a lot of times, apraxia can be confused as that lack of intelligence or understanding, just simply because of the fact that every sort of communication requires those reliable motor skills. Anything being asked of someone, whether you're asking them, hey, let's stand up and go to the bathroom, or hey, can you color this picture red? Can you grab the red crayon and color this picture? Everything requires reliable motor skills. And if I picked up the yellow crayon or I picked up the purple marker and I didn't do what you asked me to do, someone might very easily assume that I don't really understand what you're talking about, right? But it really does just go back to that brain body disconnect. And a lot of times, what these individuals' bodies are doing is not reflective of what they want to be doing. It's just simply what their body is reflecting on the outside. So it's April, it's Autism Acceptance Month. So what can we all do to kind of help support this population? The first thing is to presume competence, which is something I preach over and over again, which is just the belief that every individual has the ability to think, to learn, to understand, and to operate under that least dangerous assumption, meaning how harmful is it if I say, so and so can't do this because of XYZ, or she can't do this because of this issue, right? Whenever you take away those opportunities from people, not knowing if they're really capable, how harmful is that going to be to them in the long run? As well as include people in on the conversation. And going off of that, John really wanted to be here to answer any questions that you guys had, but he is at UTK auditing an anthropology class right now. But I did ask him what autism acceptance means to him. So that's at the bottom of the screen. To him, it means presuming confidence, having respect for non-speakers, and educating yourself on apraxia. And kind of going along with that, making sure that we're all speaking to the individuals directly to them and at an age appropriate level. I unfortunately see it a lot, especially working in the age range that I do of specifically with adults. I see a lot of people talking to a 6 foot, 200-pound man like he's a 3-year-old, right? And how would we feel if someone came up to us baby talking and giving us very just almost demeaning conversation with us, as well as just to respect their preferred method of communication. It can look so different for everyone, whether that's a letterboard or an iPad, any of those things that you have seen with people out and about, just making sure that you're respecting that. And again, talking directly to them, even if it looks like they're not listening. I promise they are, even if they had headphones on, hands in their ears, I promise they're always listening to you. So, And then I wanted to share just a few resources for you guys. On the left-hand side, there's just a QR code. It's the International Association of Spelling S Communication, which is what I'm certified through. And then on that right-hand side, just Autism Breakthrough's website. If you guys have any questions, comments, anything you want to ask me, please reach out. This is my favorite thing in the world to talk about. I can also leave my email in the chat if you guys have any additional questions. Please reach out to me. Thanks everyone for your time.
Thank you, Olivia. Do you have a moment for any questions right now? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I think Cook has a question.
Hi, this is Stephanie Cook, and fascinating what you have just taught us. Thank you for that. I guess one comment I want to say for those who don't maybe know, is that Beth Ritchie, the parent of these two amazing twins, is a former member of this body. So some of us are familiar with her, and I am just thrilled to hear that after, what'd you say, 36 years or 37 years, John
Mhm.
was able to have a conversation with his mom. Oh my
Right.
goodness. Oh my goodness. And my question, I guess, is this program available for individuals with autism of all ages, or do you have a certain age range, or how does
Yeah.
that work?
Absolutely. So here at Breakthrough, we support ages 14 and up. Luckily, there is another local practitioner in the area, and she supports all ages. We typically recommend that spellers can start from the age of 5. And that's just from, we've been told by spellers that they were learning German or geometry at the age of 5 because we know they're so incredibly smart. But yeah, and if you want her information, I can absolutely send that to you. If you have someone younger in mind, I can send you her info your way.
Thank you. That
Yeah,
is fantastic. I really appreciate what you all do and for sharing that with us.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Any other questions for Olivia?
Hi, this is Brooks. I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Olivia. I work with individuals with autism as well, and I really enjoyed your presentation. I was curious if this method is used as like a stepping stone, because I know that what ideally you would want more independent communication, and it seems like this is partnered communication. So are you guys
Yeah.
using this to teach the spelling and then moving to a different device, or?
Right. Yeah, that's such a good question. So I have my boards here. I can kind of show you guys. So what you guys saw John spelling on was this, if you can see it, was we call it the 26 stencil board. And from there you go to a laminate board. And this is what kind of prepares you for getting to the keyboard and that independent typing that you're kind of talking about. And it's so interesting and kind of that motor piece going with spelling to communicate. And my role in it in the beginning is to provide that motor support that you don't get a lot of times with an iPad or Prologue or anything like that, that is totally independent in the beginning. But to answer your question, yes, my whole goal is for everyone to be independent and be able to initiate, execute everything that they want to totally independently without me having to sit right beside them is my dream. But yeah, that's what we're working towards. It's such a long road. But yeah, that's the goal. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
I had one more thing from Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an experience with parents who are deaf and or a set of parents who are deaf and they had autism and they were able to sign okay and everything. Um, but when they got to school, they were being forced to learn English. And so I feel like if they had that there with them, it'd probably be a lot, it would help the whole situation.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. I think a lot of times that, we preach that this is for this specific population, but the thing is, in reality is that there's so many different forms of communication that can work for other populations, not just that specific population it was created for. Yeah, I agree with that. there any other questions?
Yeah, we just need to, every person with autism is different and has different needs and things like that. So I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Well, I put,
questions?
sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, sorry, Olivia.
You're fine.
Okay, well, Olivia, thank you so much for being here today. And I wanted to make sure everybody knew that Olivia is one of our nominees to join Cody coming up soon. So maybe we'll be seeing her again very soon. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Y'all too.
All right, and now we've got another presentation. This one from Mike Smith from Sertoma Center. So, Mike, you're up.
Hello, everyone. And I appreciate that. Following Olivia is going to be tough. I like that she had something very specific, and I'm as intrigued in that because we have a population that's very similar to Autism Breakthrough that as soon as she was talking, I mean, I could just list off some individuals that could benefit from that. So, I mean, ultimately, this whole mission is about helping each other and serving each other. So I can't imagine a better thing for us all to be involved in. And certainly that's one of the reasons that drew me to Sertoma 4 years ago. Maybe a lot of people are aware, I do see some familiar faces, but just for quick background, Sertoma has been around since 1961. We currently work with about 123 adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, ranging from autism through all kinds of different intellectual and developmental disabilities. Our core competency is residential. We have 34 homes that we love to call our forever homes for our individuals, and they live with us with 24/7 care. There is one individual we have that has enabling technology. We're hoping to grow that, but we like to talk about how at 8 o'clock, he is independent. And he loves that, and we love that, and we'd love to grow to have more of that going on. We have a day service that is state funded and private pay. And one thing that I'm always love to talk about is our Project Search. I think Olivia mentioned Autism Breakthrough is also a supporter of Project Search. I love Project Search, and I'm the development director. So whenever I get a chance to brag on Sertoma, I like to lead with the job part, because obviously we love taking care of folks. We love giving them 24/7 care, feeding, taking care of them at home, providing a place to live. And that's all well and good. But if we're really kind of embracing our tagline of empowerment, there is nothing I find more enjoyment on discussing our employment piece. Because when you see our individuals getting a job, it's not only that they have gainful employment and they actually like to walk around with money in their pocket, but that's that can be their socialization. Friendships, I've seen some miraculous friendships that they develop between where they're working as well as who they're working with. And if you notice, a lot of times in our world, we tend to look to Friday as, gosh, I can't wait to get the weekend and get away from my job and get on to personal things. But folks that I see in Sertoma, they value their jobs. They value their individuals they work with, their friendships. They can't wait to get back to their job or to back to the people they work with. So that's the part I could go on about. I mean, city county folks, we have folks over there that have been over there forever. And there's one particular story that I always talk about is I had a film with WBIR that day. And we were kind of coming down the hallway behind our folks that are working there. And so they had no idea that we were there with cameras. So the city county folks weren't playing up to the camera. All they saw was, Brandon and James and them coming down the hallway. And you heard them coming up from their desk going, Brandon, you having a better day than you were on Friday? Hey, Jacob, how's that watch working? Did you get that watch? I mean, very personal, very specific stories with our Project Search folks. And that just tells me how there is some they are making it their own. But I am proud to say that without Sertoma kind of being the liaison there, maybe these individuals would not have had this experience of just this bigger world. And so I'm very proud to say that we are part of that in helping them have the life that they are creating. So yeah, residential is a big thing. Support of employment, day services, I'm very proud of. We do that as well. And yeah, we're just looking to serve more individuals. We have lots of openings. We're working on homes to make them better and improve for folks having experience that are living with us. Our main thing right now is we're working on vehicles. It amazes me to say that with our transportation, of course, with taking care of 123 individuals, we're having to take them to their work, having to take them to doctor's appointments, having to take them to adventures out in the community, whatever. And our 62 vehicles that we have, it doesn't even sound like that's possible. But our 62 vehicles that we have are aging, have 120,000 miles on them, some crazy thing like that. So we're just working on refreshing our vehicles to make sure we can move into bigger programs. Because there is a program that I'm trying to start up. I'm trying to call it the Two Hearts program. And I just want to we talk about the living, we talk about the working, but I also want to try to incorporate more, I say adventures, things that our individuals want to do that are beyond just maybe going to Dollywood or maybe just going to things that are here around town. I want to make it a bigger world for them to maybe say they want to go to a Titans game in Nashville or who knows, maybe they want to go somewhere that's way out of town, go to the beach, something. And so I'm trying to work on some funding and some grants, and I want to call it the Two Heart program because a lot of times one of our staff has to go with them. We have stories of one of our individuals that wanted to go to Colorado to see their aging dad. And one of our DSPs hopped on a plane, flew out there with them to go see their dad. And sure, they were taken care of, but still that was that employee's time away from their family as well, but they gave of that. And that was a unique story. I want to have 15, 20 stories like that, where they're doing something that helped the family, but also maybe an experience that they've dreamt about doing. I just want to have that kind of funding so that the two hearts, the individual and the employee, can go. And so that's kind of one of the things that's on my radar to kind of, I mean, we need money for vans and need money for this and that, and every nonprofit needs that. But this is something that I'm kind of getting excited about because it's an enriching piece. But yeah, that's I'll leave it at that. I don't have the cool slides. I wish I had something specific more that we are doing, but just taking care of individuals is a day-to-day job. I love it. It's a great mission working with humans. Like I said, there can't be anything better than serving other humans. I can't imagine. So I'm very thankful to be here and thankful to be on this this group. Next time I want to bring someone that we do work with. We have a lot of individuals that I would love to see on this council. So next time I'd like to bring someone along with me if y'all would be fine with that. But thank you. I'll open for any questions if you guys have anything.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. And of course, you're welcome back anytime. And we'd love if you brought somebody with you next time. And just personally, I've toured Sertoma, in my former job at Johnny and Friends, and I've just always been incredibly impressed by what you guys do and how you serve our community. So anybody have any questions? All right. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Welcome.
And it's a real pleasure. And like I said, you're always welcome here.
I appreciate that. Thank you, John.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hey, John, this is Maddie. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I came in like 2 minutes late, so I'm here.
Okay, great. Thanks, Maddie. All right. All right. Thanks, Mike. You're welcome to take off if you need to. And we're going to head over to our member advocacy and information section. And I'm going to hand it over to Kanya Mole.
All right. Thank you, John. That was wonderful listening, all the good work going on at Sertoma and Breakthrough. And I'm sure the information that I'm fixing to share with you guys is something that those two agencies are familiar with as well. But maybe you guys, maybe individuals who don't work in the autism or developmental and intellectual world, you may not realize a lot of technology is is really helping support our individuals. So we're going to talk a little bit about remote support caregiving. And so if I can, I'm going to share my screen and try not to lose everybody. So let's see. Let me do this again. Hang on just a second.
Just what everybody wanted. My face really big. There we go. Just what everybody wanted. My face really big. There we go.
Another feature of this enabling technology program is the idea of having remote support caregivers. And so this means that a caregiver can be anywhere and still support an individual through any situation and any scenario. And we have a setup here where Rest Assured has provided us with a remote support setup in which remote support telecaregivers can get on and talk to somebody with a two-way audio-video conversation whenever they need help to make sure they get the support that they need. Now, the individual can communicate with that remote support caregiver by pushing a device like this pager, and once they push it, then the remote support caregiver knows that they need help, and then they can come on to the two-way audio. So I'm going to go ahead and push it and wait for our remote support caregiver to go ahead and call in, and we can have a conversation about what's going on.
Hey, Milton.
Hey, Joel.
I saw that you pressed your button. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I just got a little anxious because I know I have a new medication that was prescribed, but I can't remember what time I'm supposed to be taking it.
Okay, let me look here. I see here 3 o'clock. You're supposed to take it at 3 o'clock today.
3 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, what time is it now?
It's 2:46.
2:46? Okay, well, can you just let me know when it's time to take it?
I sure can. I'll come right back up at 3 o'clock.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Joel. I appreciate all your help.
You're welcome. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Sorry, guys, but I was muted, and I don't know why I was muted. Were you guys able to hear the video?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I don't. Even though we're talking about people with disabilities, seems to be the theme today. Even we're seeing a lot of our choices individuals, our elderly individuals, people who are aging, but they don't want to go and be in assisted living or nursing, or not nursing, but in a place where somebody else can take care of them. And so we're seeing a lot of this technology being used to be able to keep people safe in their homes for as long as they can. And so the next part that I was going to talk to you guys about is the different types of devices that we're using in our homes to help individuals maintain their independence. So let me get rid of this video real quick, and I want to share my screen. Okay. Okay. My computer doesn't like Zoom. Okay. This is not in a, it's in a PowerPoint layout, but it won't let me put it in a slide, so I can't make it as big as the screen. But I think you'll get the gist of it because it's not very big. NOS is called Night Owl Supportive sensors and devices. Now, Night Owl they're just one of many companies that we use as for enabling technology and supports. One of the things that we do use is one of the smoke detectors. It's installed in all of our homes that we have, and you guys know what that does. These are motion detectors. I think a lot of you guys, you probably use these in your homes just as I do. It can detect movement in a cone. It comes in a cone-shaped range or past a RFID beam. This is a contact sensor. I think you see a lot of these on windows and refrigerators and doors. When they're open, a little sensor goes off. They have a large portion and a small magnetic piece. It sends a signal when they're separated. So if somebody is going out the back door and they're not supposed to be going out the back door, it's going to send an alert to or a noise to whoever is intended to receive that. This is a flood sensor with probe. I didn't know this existed. When water is in contact with this probe, it sends a signal to the main sensor. This is a bed movement sensor. Bed sensors, they can detect prolonged in-bed movements, commonly used to help identify individuals who have seizures. It can also detect the absence of a person if they're absent from their bed after a certain amount of time. So that's a very good item to have. This is a med box dispenser. You guys have probably seen these. It can receive signals if the medications are not taken when it's scheduled to, and it can send a notification to the caregiver who may not live in that home, but maybe 2 or 3 houses down the street. Hey, so and so's not took their medication today, and they can go by and see what's and check on them and see what's up. This is a personal pager. Sometimes we call these a purse device. It can be worn as a necklace or mounted on a wall or worn as a belt clip. We also have adaptive pagers like the little strike plates. Adaptive pagers, they're used to contact the vendor that you're working with at that time at their monitoring station. It's easy to activate with less precision and force. They are available in several sizes and can produce audible confirmation of signal transmission. And the reason why I see a lot of these is people will have these, our individuals that we serve will have these next to their nightstand, or if they're anxious or if they're living by themselves and they get scared, they push the button, and then like you saw in the video, a person would come up on the computer screen and say, hey, what's up? How can I help you? And just talk to them. Sometimes just talking to someone who is maybe anxious and having anxiety is all that they need, is just someone to talk to. It's going to be okay, and so on. These are temperature sensors. They're commonly used near the stovetops. They detect cooking activities. This is a protection sensor. It monitors walkers and electronics. This is I really like this one. It's a floor pad sensor. It triggers a alarm when a resident steps onto the floor mat. So they're extra long and they're often laid at the bedside of the person's bed. It's a floor pad. The floor pad will sensors. The sensors are rectangular in shape and resemble a black running rug. So if you're wondering if that person's getting up in the middle of the night, it will send an alert to the caregiver or maybe the person who's living in the home and who may be on the opposite end of the house, and it will let you know, hey, so and so's up out of bed. So I really like that. This is a pillow shaker. I know you guys know what this is. It's either round or square. It can be programmed to detect if a smoke detector has been activated. This is a plunge door sensor. You guys probably know what that is. But there is here's a tilt sensor. I hadn't seen this. A tilt sensor will send an alarm when the sensor is tilted past a certain point. They are typically used on overhead garage doors. So that's one I had not seen. And then there's other different add-ons and stuff. But the vendor here, this doesn't matter. This is just work stuff. But anyway, that is those are just some of the many, many, many other devices that's out there to help individuals live independently on their own and help support remote caregiving. Do you have any questions? Okay.
Cook has one.
Okay.
Amazing. This is some fascinating stuff. I had known about some of these technology options, but not all of them. And now I'm realizing how dumb my house is, and I need to get some of these gadgets. They're fascinating. But in all seriousness, I wanted to tell folks, if you know somebody who is deaf or hard of hearing in the city of Knoxville, and you need one of those accessible bed shaker smoke detecting alarms, we can provide it and install it free of charge. You need to know that. It's important.
Oh,
Safety first.
That's great information. Thank you.
Very cool. Any other questions for Molt?
This is Simmons. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Joel.
Okay. I was just going to tell them I didn't have a question, but Disability Resource Center is going to have Signal Center at their office on the 17th, starting at 11:30, and they're going to have a whole bunch of assisted technology. So if you guys haven't received that, if you are available, you can go to the Disability Resource Center on the 17th, starting at 11:30, and Signal Center will be down there with a bunch of adaptive technology.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Simmons.
Where is that at exactly? This is Paul.
But Paul, the Disability Resource Center is over off Crossroads. It's over by Executive Parkway, Cedar Bluff area.
I
Catherine,
can
you
put
was
the address, Joel. I can put the address in the chat for everyone and the date because I got the same invite and RSVP'd
Yeah,
as
please
well.
do. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for doing that, Kanya. Any other questions before we move on? Okay. Before we move on to committee reports, a quick question. If you are the person who is joining us with the phone line at 314-4505, if you would just real quick identify yourself so we can put you down in the record. All right. Well, if you hear later, if you at some point hear me ask again later, just let us know your name and we'll write you down in the records. Moving on, let's go to committee reports. Bylaws didn't meet, membership did. So let's have our membership report.
Monica, I can take that if you'd like me to.
I don't have the notes with me. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So membership met on April 3rd. We will be conducting nominee interviews on April 22nd, 2024 from 1 o'clock until 4:30 p.m. I may have another nomination come in, and if that is the case, then I will have to push out interviews to the Wednesday. Membership does hope to present nominee information to Codi at the May meeting to be voted on in June, along with new officers and second terms.
All right, excellent. Anything else regarding membership? Okay, moving along, transportation.
Okay, this is Welch. I was looking to see if anybody else was here that took notes, but I guess I will refresh you on our meeting. So, we met Monday, the 8th, which was this week, and just a few updates. CAT had just rolled out on Monday some changes, returning their service to pre-COVID levels and making some route adjustments. We discussed the mobility plan 2050, which is a transportation plan that the city of Knoxville works on going forward. They've completed their first phase, and there will be a phase 2 and 3, which will be more public meetings, which will occur in the late summer. He's just trying to get general information on what the future of transportation will look like, or what some needs are that need to be addressed. And the third thing we talked about was general discussion on sidewalk slopes, the percentage, and accessible parking spaces. So we had a really good meeting, a really engaging, and that's just about all we covered. And I will make a note that CAT Reimagined will be kicking off in August, and there's some changes to some routes and such coming forward in August as well with that. And we talked about maybe trying to raise some awareness about accessible parking and see if we could do some sort of educational videos that we already have that Codi produced using through community television, but maybe getting area TV stations to share those as PSAs, or doing a general public awareness. So we will be checking and trying to see if we can get some TV stations to maybe share those to the general public to get the awareness out there. And that's all I have on transportation.
Thank you, Welch. Any questions,
is
comments? Yeah, go ahead,
This
Joel.
is Simmons. This is Simmons. I just like to tag in with Nancy. I think we had some people in transportation that had some contacts with 6 and 8. If anybody has any contacts, I believe with channel 10, that was something we were looking for. So if somebody knows anybody we can call or harass at channel 10, by all means, let us know. Share.
Thank you, Joel.
Okay. Moving along to strategic plan reports. Livability is meeting May 1st and Universal Design is meeting May 6th. And that brings us to new business. Does anyone have any new business? Misha, you look like you want to say something.
I'm just waiting for the announcements.
Okay, if there's no new
Hey, John,
business.
I got one.
Yeah,
This
please.
is Maddie.
Go,
Sorry.
Matt.
So the PBA has redone their contract and they will no longer allow motorcycles or trikes in any of the parking garages in Knoxville.
Hmm.
Now, I have a lot of veterans that are handicapped that ride trikes. and they're being turned around at the entrance of pretty much every garage. And they wouldn't really tell us why, but it's effective 1 May because they redid all their contracts. I didn't know if we had a point of contact just to engage in polite discussion.
Yeah, Matheson, will you send me just a brief email with that and I'll see what we can do. We know some people at PBA, Stephanie and I do, so we can try to find out more info.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you. And moving along to announcements. Does anybody have any announcements? Misha,
I do.
I'm shocked.
I am so excited to announce that as of this Monday, past Monday at about 5 o'clock, the Attorney General has now signed the final rule for website accessibility for state and local governments. Once it is posted in the federal register, which it hasn't been yet, it needs to be posted for 60 days. And then after that, Knoxville, which has more than 50,000 people in its area, will have 2 years to comply with that. So we're getting increased website and mobile app accessibility, and I'm really super excited for that. Other announcement, just want to remind everybody that May's regular Codi meeting will be held in the training room at Goodwill Industries, which is located at 5307 Kingston Pike in the 37919 area.
Great. Anybody have questions about those or have any other announcements?
This is Welch. I have an announcement. Through AARP, they will be having a car fit event in Oak Ridge, May the 15th. I will be helping out as a volunteer, and Don Lindsay, he's also affiliated with AARP. He will be there. I can share out more information as I get it, but all I have is the date at the moment, May the 15th, and I believe that's at the Oak Ridge Senior Center.
Excellent. Thank you, Welch.
Uh-huh.
Any other announcements? Okay, seeing none. Public forum. Would anybody who is here as a member of the public like to speak at this time? Paul, did you have something?
Yeah. I had a concern about a follow-up for the something program. Tennessee Technology Program. Have you have you heard anything from them?
I'm not sure what you're referring to. Misha, do you?
Spark, are they still running?
I'm not sure what you're asking, Paul. I'm sorry.
Yes, Spark. Are they still running?
Oh, Spark.
Spark's still up and running,
Spark.
yeah.
Okay, because I was waiting for someone to pick up the old my old wheelchair that's electric, my electronic wheelchair. And they're supposed to pick it up, and I've been waiting on that. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that.
They are doing. I know that Spark is in the middle of a some kind of campaign about chairs. Welch, what'd you have? Is it about this?
It is not. It's for later.
Yeah. Hang on. Paul, we can get you a contact. We can come up with a contact at Spark easily enough.
This is Carter. I used to work at Spark and I volunteer over there just a little bit now. And the procedure is when somebody calls and requests for a pickup, Fernando usually He's the guy in charge of the durable medical equipment. He is the one that will make arrangements for that. Sometimes he has a little bit of difficulty keeping things straight. So if you'll call Spark's number again, it's 865-219-0130 and ask to speak to Betsy Pickle. She
Can
will be
can
to
you
help.
give that to me again, or maybe in the chat, or email me or something?
Uh,
It's
yeah.
been almost 5 years now, and since I got the new one, so I don't know what to
Oh
do
my
with the other one. I
God.
have no room.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I can give that to you again. I don't do the check because I have a visual disability. So the phone number is 865.
Okay.
Right.
Let me just put it
I'll
in the
look it
chat. No
up.
problem. 865
219
219.
0130 and ask to speak to Betsy.
Okay, perfect. Got it.
She'll get your picked up.
Thank you, Carter.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I'll let them know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Welch.
Yeah, I guess my question is for Misha or us as a body in general. Where are we with the Cody planning meeting for Cody's birthday celebration?
We are still trying to get a keynote speaker. The mayor had suggested Inky Johnson, so I've reached out to him and I'm waiting to hear back. I know that we had decided as a group that we needed to narrow down the month and time before we started too much planning. So it was getting in touch with the mayor and then now getting in touch with Inky. And as soon as I've got any information on a day and time, we're looking at September and November, probably between 4 and 6 on a Monday through Thursday. But other than that, I don't have it narrowed down anymore because I don't have the keynote solidified yet.
Okay, excellent.
Great. Inky is awesome, for sure. Great speaker. Okay. Any other announcements or anybody from the public want to take a moment to speak? All right, Misha, you got anything else?
Yes, and this is not an announcement, just as an aside, I want to thank everybody for the wonderful gift that you all put together for me. I've got the flowers sitting on my desk and I'm drinking out of the mug today. This mug is really, really good. I burned the crap out of my tongue this morning on it because I'm not used to having something that keeps the heat in. And it will keep coffee hot for about 5 hours. However, I do want to let you know that the gift card that was gathered for me, I am going to have to give back to all of you all. And it is definitely the thought that counts, and I appreciate it more than I can let you know. But due to administrative rules, I'm not allowed to accept that gift. So there are a couple of things that can be done, and I'm sure John will help with this. He can get in touch with the members that had contributed to that and get that amount back to you. Or as the purchasing department here suggested, it can be donated to somewhere in my name. However, if you all do not want what you contributed back, I would suggest that Cody, rather than donating it to a different entity, use it for something Cody related. So I just want to say thank you all. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I'm sorry that I was not able to accept it, but that does not mean that I appreciate it any less. You all are amazing. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you like crazy, Misha, and thank you to all of you for participating in that little endeavor, even if I guess maybe we'll use it to buy pizza or something for a future Cody event, something like that. So thank you, Misha. Anybody got anything else before we adjourn? Okay, it is 4:05, and at this time we're adjourned. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Nancy, do you want to say the
Anita's-
full transcript?
Yes, I just did. Can you tell me what time we started the meeting?
I
It was
will have to
right
scroll
at-
up to the beginning of the transcript because I did not write that down.
It was right at 3.
Right at 3. All right. Excuse me. All righty.
All right, cool. And you got the transcript and everything?
I got it. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, everyone.